Good afternoon, everybody, and or good evening, as this is actually live for once. I didn't originally plan to do it this way, but I had talking with a couple people this afternoon, and then earlier this evening, I decided to do a live episode for talking MTV Scream, and I wanted to talk about the episode, the review, just as I do all my other past videos with reviews, um, and my theories. Obviously, this is a little different with doing it with a live episode. And through Google Hangouts, obviously people will be able to join in if they want to. As I see someone else came in, I don't see the name, but I see something there. Um, and definitely can talk stream. This episode 8, I believe, we're getting closer and closer to the end. 3 episodes left. This is one of 3. We're getting closer and closer to find out who the killer is. The way they promoted the next episode 9, promoted it almost like they were going to reveal who the killer is. Um, but I doubt it. Obviously, we'll get much closer. A lot more will be seen or found out, and then episode 10, the finale, is where where, as they say, stuff hits the fan, and we find out who the killers or the killers from season 1 here. I've always stayed on Kieran being the person of choice of who I think is the killer. I have had really my top 5 the last couple of episodes. Incorporated that um, in my videos about MTV Stream. So keep on that. But I'm also moving now to doing it live now that I have a laptop and able to do Google Hangouts and interact with fellow fans of MTV Stream. So if you are watching this live, thank you, and welcome to jump on in and join the conversation. This episode, to jump right in after my little soliloquy there, obviously all around Emma, as it really has always been. But this time, and this episode, it's like clearly her and how she's reacting and dealing with after Will's death and it happening right in front of her. I guess she had to be on antidepressants and all other sorts of things to get herself better. Um, she has some hallucinations. She finds out some things. So definitely a truly Emma centric episode. I'm diving into those sort of things, but we still get a little bit of the other characters, of course, but a lot less than in other episodes in the past, obviously. Especially as we get closer and closer to find out who the killer is, and closer and closer to that season 1 finale, as we found out there will be a season 2. Um, but things have to be wrapped up, and especially since Emma is the target of the killer in a way, trying to open her eyes to things. I'm not gonna have some interesting theories on things, especially from things like we found out tonight. The episode just actually ended 20 minutes ago, so pretty much all the stuff obviously will be fresh in the mind. I just gotta make sure that it can work, and I think that with everything that apologize, but everything that I sorry, just checking. Someone else was able to join here, but I can't see them or hear them.
Oh, hello?
Oh, hello, Jay.
Yeah. How you doing, Steve?
Good. How are you doing this evening?
I'm sorry, there's no picture. It's still be my logo, but my logo does not pop up.
Yeah, that's why I kind of thought it was you, but since I didn't see your podcast logo, I was suspicious for a couple of seconds there.
Oh, okay.
But no, I'm glad you were able to stop by. I mean, and at the right time because I just started talking general overview. Before we dive into specific things, what were your overall view on tonight's episode?
Once again, I do apologize for the audio. I'm using my headset since this is not my um regular show. I think I was expecting more from the trailer we got last week. I thought there's gonna be a lot of things jumping out of us. And maybe there's just us, or maybe just me, or just the way they want to hype up their show. It wasn't a bad show, but just a lot with Emma and where she's looking at, and in the end we get a little bit, but not all that. And we still would have 2 episodes left, so I'm assuming that okay, that's fine. They can let it all out. Next week looks like another interesting episode, but I thought this week was going to be like one of the best episodes yet, and I don't think this episode was the best.
No, I agree on that one. I don't think it's best by far, but obviously I think it's pretty good. And where they are at in the season as they are, I kind of understood why it was, as I said earlier, like a totally centric Emma episode, and with
Hmm.
everything going on with her after Will's death and everything. I understood that because you're building on, and she is the main target of the killer. So as much as we can want to learn other things from the other characters and their situations, you have to bring it all into what the main thing of everything is Emma being stalked in a way by the killer and being killer's main desire. I some things that I caught specifically being the tape that Emma was listening to of her father and everything, talking about Brandon sleeping with Daisy and why did she sleep with the monster and everything. And to be quite honest, right when I heard that, I was correlating that with Kieran, like because I still think Kieran to me is my number one suspect still. Now, as I tweeted out, with things that have happened in the last 2 episodes, I might have changed my mind to a couple of other candidates, but I still am gonna go with Kieran as of now. But anyway, back to that tape. I think that meant something. I think it meant something because of the fact that it was repeated, and not just repeated for her to hear, but I think it was repeated for the audience and for the fans to drive it home, really, of that point. Kind of like sleeping with the enemy, and Kieran, in Emma's case, being the monster, being the enemy, a monster in a different way. Not Brian James is a monster because of how he looked. Kieran is just a monster in how really he acts, and maybe in the end, because he is the killer, that kind of monster. Um, because there's a lot of stuff this whole season that he's done that's very shady to me, been missing in times where makes him look very suspicious to me, and I'm sure others that have been on the Kieran train for who done it. Um, but everybody's a suspect, so if it's not Kieran, then obviously I'll be wrong. But I still have a conviction that she is either the killer or with a group of killers. Now, one main thing that I found interesting in this episode that didn't have to do with Emma was with Brooke and her situation with her father, the mayor, and how that's deteriorating. Um, and and really, I forget his name now. I don't know if you can help me out, Jay, but her new friend, the one she goes to, he's seemed in the past couple episodes to have his own issues to have me kind of second guess and wonder maybe he could be the one. Um, especially 2 episodes when especially talking about her father and convincing Brooke that maybe her father killed her mother. He killed his own wife, but in the end that wasn't true. She was able to talk to her mom, find out she's alive. Then the situation later on with her and the teacher and getting attacked. Now that was very suspicious in the end to me. So there was a lot of interesting things to take out of this episode from what I saw, or from what notes I took that I'm looking at. I do apologize. I'm looking down at notes, but from the notes I took, those are the main things, and that's why, as I think you even said there, Jay, that it's not the best one. I think they're saving the best for last for that finale. As I said, stuff's gonna happen. It's gonna a lot of stuff's gonna happen. Obviously, in the next 2 episodes, but specifically that 10th and final episode in the finale. People are gonna find out things are gonna happen, things will be revealed, and in that episode, as I do a review, um, which I think I will be doing, 20 minutes or between 20 and 30 minutes after the end of the episode, which will be around 10:20, 10:30 Central Time. Uh, I don't know if you're still there, Jay. I was just gonna ask you um, what things you took out of this episode specifically, or if you want to run down through the whole entire episode from start to finish, however you want to do it, that you thought was interesting, or something maybe that you caught that I didn't, that might sway you to somebody. that you think could be the killer or killers?
Um, I never really kind of made a list like you did. You do this every week. I watch, but I don't review. So my whole thing will be, I guess, I don't know if this is an obvious choice, but Daisy, is that the child that Emma's mother had that she gave up for adoption? Am I correct?
No, Daisy is Emma's mom. Daisy is
Okay,
her. She is
that's right.
Daisy.
I would guess her child that she gave for adoption will be the killer, even though it seems like that's the obvious choice. I mean, I really couldn't. Well, that's just the father because I don't think it's any character we have been seeing week after week. I don't think the killer is right in front of us. I think it's either he's going to show up, or in this episode where it teaches for me either the father or Emma's Daisy's son or daughter that she had gave up for adoption.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. And I was thinking that maybe already that
Hmm.
that child that she gave up is already part of the story, has already been seen by the audience, as and it could be Piper and the reporter, or it could be Aubrey or Audrey, who had a picture of Brennan James underneath the picture of Emma in her bedroom that we saw in an early episode of the season. It could be any number of people they obviously know, and they're the mastermind behind everything. Because as the killer said in that one of the cryptic phone calls, talk about her family being a fraud. It could be coming right out of one of those Scream movies where it's a family dichotomy, and that as you can call overlooked child is the one that had to be given up, and that situation that's coming back to get revenge on Emma. Technically, their sister, the person's sister, individual sister, because they were looked over because she was, or however it becomes in their mind. So that's what I was thinking too. It could be that. It could be a person that we haven't seen yet, as in the child being not one of the group. But I was specifically thinking that maybe it could be one that we've already seen, and that person could be the mastermind behind the group of killers, or one killer specifically. Because with everybody having their motives or their reasons to be the killer, um, we still have to find out the core, because in the core, the main death was always Nina's. Nina's was the first one, and it started everything. And she was the first victim, her and her boyfriend Tyler. And obviously it went from there, and Emma's being the one that's being pursued, but that was the first one, so she was targeted first for another, maybe even a different reason at all. Meaning, just saying that you got to think of it as that way as well. Why would the killer go after them first? Whether it's just happenstance and situational, or there's a method to a madness. The killer's slowly trying to get to Emma in this way to try to get truths revealed. As you say, he's trying to unmask really her life and the people within her life. Now, Jay, I know you don't do this weekly, and I know you don't have your list, so I'm not going to ask you for a list. Obviously, I'm just going to ask you, who do you think is your number one suspect? To who you think the killer is, if you have one.
Well, from tonight's episode, I guess I'm going back to if I had a number one, definitely Emma's mother, Daisy, her child that she gave up for adoption, wherever this may be.
Okay, yeah. See, what I think is we see all these little things coming up now in these late episodes, and maybe new little nuggets. Like there always was a theory that there was a child. Like
Mhm.
I don't mean to bring this up if you don't know about it, but there's from Gravity Falls, with the whole twin theory, was there almost from the beginning of the first season, and it was revealed in the end that the author of the journals was Stan's twin who actually your name was Stanford, yada yada, how that went. So in this case, people have already been thinking that Daisy had a child. Now, maybe the situation that they thought that maybe they didn't know, in the theories that were given, maybe they didn't think and planned it like being one that she had to give up, but just being a child that maybe left or something themselves, as in didn't want to be part of that family because she's being overlooked or underappreciated or whatever. That a different kind of story and backstory for that person to then lead up to the psychotic situation of being killer. Also, I want to say with Emma and her situation, it seems like she's losing her ever loving mind, with everything going on, and her going to a deep end and everything, and Kieran being there at the right times, quote unquote. There was also a little bit suspicious to me. But going back on the whole, child thing, I think that was a theory that's been there for a while with a couple other YouTubers and other fans on Twitter. That could be the case, and with that going, it's been Audrey. Maybe it could be, or I think someone said something about doing the math and how it could be Piper, because Piper said in I think it was 2 episodes ago, if I'm not mistaken, that obviously her father died. Never found out who killed him or the killer or something like that. Maybe like, her father's Brandon James, and maybe obviously she knew that all along. She's playing them. She's trying to get. She's being close with this whole podcast thing for a reason, and she's gonna get information anyways, and then she's gonna use it to her advantage as the killer. So that's a different way to look at it, different way to think about it. Um, but I was just gonna say another great episode of Scream. I'm definitely gonna get things rocking and rolling with these last 2 episodes. Um, and even as people tweeted, I know Jay did and you did and others, before it started, talking about there's a lot of stuff that should be coming out in this episode, and maybe not as much as people hoped. Maybe their expectations were a little bit higher, which then maybe the episode then didn't live up to set expectations of the individual, which is understandable. Everybody has their opinion, and I respect that. Um, but for me, I don't really go into an episode as with that much of expectation of things. Yes, I would have hoped that. I would love that. More to talk about in the reviews, whether it was with my old way or now live episodes. But I go in with medium expectations. So for me, then it's easier for me for the show to then exceed it for each episode. I think the only one where I might have close to high expectations, obviously, will be that finale. And that finale, when I do that episode, hopefully we get a lot more not more eyeballs here, and talk with other fans as well, and have other great discussions. So I guess that's it from me for thoughts. I mean, this isn't obviously a podcast. This is just my regular like a YouTube video in a way. Talking about MTV Scream, but doing it obviously in a Google Hangouts format because I like to be interactive, talk with people. So my last comments, I'll go first. Obviously, I'm definitely looking forward to the ninth episode. My top five, I almost forgot. Number 5 would be the teacher. 4 is going to be the sheriff. 3 is going to be Piper, the podcast host. 2 will be Audrey. I still think that she could be involved. And still number 1 for now. I'm as much as I said things are changing for me in my head. I still got to go with the horse I rode in on. With the one I had from episode 1, Kieran, who I think in the end will be revealed as the killer. Jay, do you have any last thoughts or outlooks or predictions into the next episode, and anything that you might want to plug? Go ahead.
So next episode we got after that one we have one more left, right? Correct.
Yep, 2 more, one and then the next.
Okay. I was just on Twitter as you were talking, seeing people's comments using the hashtag Scream TV, MTV, and seeing where people are disappointed or not. Getting their, the people say. I don't see too many people disappointed. I see a lot of tweets where they say, "Well, I'm glad they didn't, disappoint a lot of people because people are still kind of high on this episode." Um, the teacher, his name is his real name is Seth, right?
Yeah,
Palmer.
yeah, Seth Palmer.
Um,
but no
No,
man
no, that's
said
not
things.
him. He's not the killer. I think. Hopefully, I'm not mistaken. But the way they showed it, I mean, she just got attacked. I don't think the guy can really change out of a screen costume that quickly. Now, of course, the cops thought he did it, but for viewers, it's like, okay, it's not him. And then the trailer we got for next week, they think they got the killer. I'm sure he should be somewhere at a police station, but no, we've seen the guy scream right behind, um, the cop and the I forget his name, but he's
Yeah, the sheriff.
the sheriff. So, um, even though Audrey and her friend was doing all that investigating in the classroom, and it looked like it could have been him, maybe he's in on it, or I mean, I don't know why else he'd have a murder knife in there unless he had a lot to explain or why he changed his name. But I'm gonna excluding him out. Um, and as episodes go on, I think either we get new characters or not. I think and that heart means something. She had flashbacks of that heart, and we've seen that in the box and we get in a few episodes of this season. So I was seeing some tweets about that. I just know I got no other choice but Daisy's son or slash daughter. And you said the number one on your list, Steve, was who again?
Yeah, I still am gonna go with Kieran, but I can almost say that I can think that maybe your theory with Daisy's son or daughter could be it with the whole heart thing, like broke her heart and not wanting to keep her and not want to be part of the family sort of thing, or whatever vendetta the person could, male or female, could have against Emma specifically. Like we said, she's the main ire of the killer, obviously. Trying to open her eyes to things, and as they say, it ends with her. And again, as I always said in my other reviews, in the old format, that you gotta always look for the small things. The littlest thing in the episode might even mean the most, even more than obviously the big clues and the big reveals. In my opinion, that's how it's kind of these TV shows are, and they're supposed to be. I would hope they would be. Those little nuggets, those little pieces to the puzzle, as I like to call it, that could mean a lot more than you think. Whether it's a simple scene that you think means nothing to the overall plot, could in fact will, and then you'll understand how that chain of event did have a meaning when we get to episode 10 and reveal the killer, and you'll be like, oh, I got that. I understand about yada yada. Example of a scene in episode 3 or something. Something like that. So definitely watch out for those small little things. Also, for people who like MTV Stream, before the 10th episode, or even now if you want to, go back to watch all the rest of the episodes. I know I will be before the finale. Not now, but before the finale. Um, and see if I pick up anything new that maybe I didn't notice at that time. Especially the first few episodes when it was fresh. And we didn't know everything that we know now, here after episode 8 going into episode 9. Um, so definitely, if you want to, if you obviously have the time, for anybody out there, definitely check that out. Also for people and subscribers to my YouTube channel, or obviously those that aren't subscribed, you're welcome to subscribe. Check out my other videos, like, share, and comment. And I will be doing, like I said, moving forward from the end of this season and into next season, Google Hangout reviews and theory videos. I was thinking of making them still regular videos, but I kind of got the idea to do it this way because maybe I can interact with more people and use the Google Hangouts more. Um, since obviously I paid to get a laptop, so I will be doing that moving forward, and it will be around 20 to 30 minutes after end of episode. I'm sure I probably, after I'm done with this one, will create the next one, and people are welcome to quote unquote RSVP for them if they're able to watch them, either watch them or be part of them. As Jay was tonight, others are welcome to join because you can have 10 people total, including me, the host of this thing, part of the video. So I always called it an episode, but it's not. This is not a podcast. This is just a regular video, or usually used as a regular video for my YouTube channel. Also, with that said, you're welcome to follow me on Twitter at army_strong_06, where I do live tweet each and every Thursday evening here for MTV Scream. On your obviously I'll let Jay. Jay, you can plug your Twitter handle and anything else you want to before we leave for the night.
Yeah. Just looking at people think it's Piper or Branson. Branson's the teacher, right? Or the Emma's the father.
Yes.
Okay.
No, 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 no. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I was getting confused between him and the sheriff.
Okay. So yeah, I get my characters mixed up. I gotta really like, get on that. So, but yeah, Steve, you know my show, Talking WWJ. We'll be live come this Thursday at 8 p.m. So you can go to our YouTube channel that way, youtube.com/ Talking WWJ, or find us on Google Hangouts on air on the Google Plus website, and you go to live, and somehow you can find us on there. Steve will be there. One of our co-hosts on there, Stephen A. and Aaron, and some other guests, hopefully that will be able to join us come this Thursday at 8 p.m. Um, Other than that, fun episode, Steve. I always like to try to, since I'm trying to Google Hangouts, at least join some others as well. Um, might even look on this list here that shows people who are alive and take a peek and see how they're doing things also. Um, was unable to make Best Buy tonight. They do close at 10, I thought for sure at 11. So I might have to visit them tomorrow since it's one of my off days to return mines and
Oh, you have off tomorrow?
yeah,
Oh, I didn't even
tomorrow.
know that. I was gonna say because then that would really suck because you'd have to try to do that before we do our test episode.
Oh yeah, at 4 we're going to do our weekly WWE news and rumors, which we'll be live for that too, but I mean, it's not working for you guys to come. But if you're listening to this, I guess tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're also going to be talking the latest WWE news and stuff tomorrow with Steve here, your host, and also Stephen A, uh, my co-host. So that will be something to also look out for if you're up and ready to go by tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, myself have to go return my computer and get another one just because I hate the lack of the speed in the keyboard. I looked at some reviews also for this computer and people had the same issue. I didn't maybe I should look at that, but I'm assuming the next one I get. I'm not gonna do a review on it, but of course I'm just gonna make sure I get I might up it another $100 or something. I just want to make sure the quality is good for this one, but I mean, just the
Right.
keyboard and there were some other things I noticed that didn't really shoot at me. And it's just for a podcast use only, but still, if I'm typing people back or looking at Tweets Rubber Live, I want to be able to have speedy access to my keyboard. But Steve, yeah, fun show. Um,
Yeah,
I'm
it was great
probably will
to.
be on next week too. Well, probably for your next 2 episodes. Um,
There's only two left. It definitely would be great to have you a part of this. And I never really obviously thought of it as like an episode, but technically it is with
yeah,
using Google Hangouts and my YouTube channel. It's no longer just regular videos anymore, I guess, which is fine. I like to interact with others, not just obviously you and anybody else that would be interested. I don't know if you know anybody else that would be watch watch stream or whatever. Tell them about it and go forward with the next episodes because then again we'll be here all next season for season two and see how they do things. If things are going to change, if they're going to have a whole new cast, or if they're going to keep the cast as is, and we'll find out that it was a group. And each season, whether it's 1 to 3 or whatever, that each killer is revealed at the end of each season, as I kind of brought up in my last review in a regular episode, a regular video, where I thought that we think we found him or her, and at the end of that finale, someone else is killed off, and the whole storm starts again. Then you go into the cliffhanger into season two. But definitely, everybody that is a WWE fan, this is a big week for us. This is SummerSlam week. Brock Lesnar was on SportsCenter. John Cena is going to be on a morning show. I don't know if it's tomorrow or Thursday or Friday. I don't know exactly. But on Good Morning America, he's going to co-host on there himself. So the WWE realm. I have my podcast and my Twitter handle at W_podcast. So if pro wrestling fans are also fans of Scream and you're watching this live or later, definitely check out my Twitter handle and Jay's, as I am a part of his show as well. It's a great show, and definitely check it out when we go live Thursday night, and the world gets to see what Jade looks like. The unveiling, the unmasking, almost like Kane being unmasked,
Mhm.
the unmasking of the identity of the man behind the voice.
Yes.
But definitely, I'm definitely hyped for that as well. So thank you everybody who has watched, will watch, and I'll see you all in the next episode.